The Ford Fiesta. It's Britain's favourite small hatchback. Ever since the Mark I arrived more than 30 years ago, it's consistently topped the sales charts.
And this latest version is no exception. When it was released in 2008, the 6th generation model amazed the world with its, well, rather stunning styling.
It's not hard to see why. An aggressive nose with large upswept headlamps, a bold shoulder line and a sloping roof with integrated rear spoiler. All these features combine to make the Fiesta look a lot more sporty than your average small car. This style continues on the inside too. The instruments and steering wheel wouldn't look out of place on a sports car, while the curvaceous dash has a soft-touch upmarket feel. However, some of the other plastics used in the cabin, such as those on the door trims, feel a little bit budget. The biggest standout feature of the Fiesta's cabin, however, has to be the centre console. It houses the car's driving, entertainment and communication controls.
Now, if you think this button layout looks a little bit familiar, it's because it was inspired by that used on a mobile phone.
In fact, the whole of the Fiesta's interior is supposed to have the same fashionable feel and desirability as a mobile phone, and indeed it does. Under the bonnet, however, the Fiesta is more conventional. It's available with a range of engines, including a very economical Econetic diesel. This particular car, however, is a 1.4 litre petrol.
There are a wide range of trims to choose from the luxurious titanium to the more sporty Zetec models. And as for safety, you get driver, passenger and side airbags as standard, and also electronic stability control. As for the Fiesta itself, it's a pretty tough little car. It's scored a full 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating.
But the question is, does it drive as good as it looks?
Oh yes. The handling is very nimble, yet totally stable, and this, plus the accurate light steering and slick gear change, means that this little Fiesta is actually a huge amount of fun on a twisty road. What's particularly impressive is that despite the sporty driving experience, the Fiesta is still very, very comfortable. The way its suspension absorbs bumps and potholes can shame some much larger cars.
It's quiet inside too, with very little wind or engine noise entering the cabin. As for the engines, well, they're all fairly nippy and refined, though it's the 1.25 and 1.6 litre petrol versions that impress the most.
Another great thing about the Fiesta is that the driving position is spot on, and there's a huge range of adjustment in the seat and in the steering wheel, which means that you can get comfy regardless of your size or your shape.
If you plan on carrying rear passengers regularly, you'll need the 5-door version of the Fiesta rather than the sportier looking 3-door.
But even then they'd probably be more comfortable in a VW Polo, because the car's swooping roofline means that headroom's a little bit limited, and if you look down here, you'll notice there really isn't much leg room either.
The boot is a decent size though, and you can get even more room by folding down the split 60/40 rear seats.
Sadly, they don't lie flat, which means this load area is actually awkwardly shaped.
There's another price to pay for the car's design. The stylish Fiesta costs slightly more than many of its key rivals. Still, apart from the very entry-level model, most are well equipped with things like electric windows and air conditioning as standard.
Also, the little Ford is pretty cheap to run, especially the Econetic model, which is road tax exempt because it has such low emissions. As for the costs, well, insurance is pretty cheap, and servicing you're looking at once every 12,000 miles or every year.
As for any unplanned maintenance, well, the Ford Fiesta came 34th out of 100 for reliability in the 2010 Driver Power Survey, beating rivals such as the Vauxhall Corsa, Renault Clio and Peugeot 207.
Overall, the Ford Fiesta is great to drive, good to look at and cheap to run. The only drawbacks are that it's a little bit more expensive to buy than its rivals and a little bit less roomy in the back too. But if fun and style are your key priorities, then the Fiesta is a cracking little car.